All right, we are live. We are hanging with Sir Nick, literally underneath I-20 on his way home from the studio of Augusta National, coming back. I am at the house. I am upstairs. I'm waiting for my man who's going to be in the car. We're going to be on for the next hour, 90 minutes, taking everybody's questions. I think we can all say that was some unbelievable day. So I'm your host, Brant Packer, joined by Sir Nick Faldo, six-time major champion, three-time Masters champions, probably never seen anything like that. And the cool thing that you all will be able to do is you'll be able to drop us questions in the Q&A and the chat box. And if you want to ask your question live, we'll bring you on, unmute yourself, turn on your mic, and let's fire away. Let's have a good time. I cannot, Sir Nick, we're going to have Peter Jacobson join us in one sec. As you're driving, hopefully on the correct side of the road, what the hell did we just see?
I don't know. I'm still stunned. I'm in shock, disbelief. I've never been put through the ringer like that. From the commentary tower, never, where do we start? I mean, we start at one, doubles one. I did that back in 1990. So, okay, so no big deal. How do you recover from that? And then we were expecting to have a slugfest between him and Bryson. So Bryson gets two shots up the first, even though they were both Bryson from the trees, makes a par, Rory makes a mess. And then we had them amazing Rory doesn't birdie number two, which is like, okay, we're all time. I was doing previews on Sky saying, well, the par fives are obviously pretty obvious. He's got to hit great drives where he nails it into the bunker, takes a five. Then he gets a two-shot swing against Bryson on the third.
Who has the lead? Bryson has the lead, leaving two. Well, think about how quickly that changed.
Well, exactly. Then two shots are gone. A birdie to a three putt. Then they do the same at the fourth. And then we started going backwards. Rory was off course. He hits incredible safety shots or saves. The shot at seven from out the trees, unbelievable. They both don't birdie eight.
So they made a mess.
Yeah, well, but they find it just a little too straight. You're thinking, well, maybe move your target. And then it all started unfolding. Then Rory suddenly plays great, doesn't he? He gets birdies 9 and 10 to take a good nice comeback. But now he's 3 shots in the lead, and
stays up on 11. That could have been ugly.
Oh, 11 was amazing. Actually going for it. We know about those chocolate drops down the right-hand side. They kick the ball towards the pond. I'm saying Freddie Couples. When famously Freddie stayed up at 12. Then we go through, and then because then 13 he's got an 8. I'm sitting there describing all he's got to do is send it up. 5 yards left of the flag, let it swing around. I'm really thinking he's going to knock it up. 3-4 feet, and there's the cushion, and he's on cruise control. And he goes.
Well, let me go backwards. I'm fascinated your take on this. The 3-wood off the tee. Now, he said he went and talked to Nicklaus, and they went over a game plan and a strategy. As great as he hit the driver yesterday, as that being his weapon, do you think that was in a off-the-cuff switch where he said, the drivers, I'm missing it left and right. The worst I'm going to have is 20 feet for birdie if I lay up here. Or do you think that was part of his game plan when the day started?
Oh, I don't know about before the day started. I don't believe in that when guys say they got a game plan. You have to duck and dive and go in present time. And I think he probably felt that you've got to be careful that when you go for a draw and you hit it out the toe a little bit and then you overdo it and you end up in the creek. Or he busts it because he's full of adrenaline and he's going through a lot. He's there's a lot happening now. So right then he was on adrenaline rush. So
going through the glasses, will you? They're in my bowl.
Nope.
What?
We got to have somebody put their on mute. Just keep going.
Yeah. So I think he's more concerned with an adrenaline rush. He goes straight through the fairway, into the pine straw. So I think 3-wood was fine. And he's 3 ahead. Be sensible. Don't risk hitting in the creek or anything like that. He laid up beautifully at the perfect angle, and then it just flat out. It was a shocker. Never, for him to do that, you could tell he was suddenly struggling to make a follow through with a wedge, which you know, and you think, what on earth happened? And you can see what it did to him. It turned his stomach upside down. And then, he takes a 7. You can't believe he's never taken a 7
And are you surprised he didn't try to play a little low runner? Is that shot call for a ballooner? Or is that?
Well, no, he just completely froze on these follow through. So that,
Yeah.
I was disgraced. As I said, you aim 5 yards left of the flag, and you just, you're right, and you just, yeah, exactly that. That was a straightforward shot, and really no problem to it, and would probably end up with a nice result. So, so taking 7 there, and now his mind and body and stomach will be churning, and he then has to recover from that. Gets to 14, and I could tell he was struggling now. I mean, how do you deal with that? That's gut wrenching, and now
Yep.
you've got to try and then he takes a poor 5 up there. Now he's in trouble, and then he hits a pretty decent tee shot down, but obviously a little too much to the left. Right, I might be getting extra because I've got 2 systems.
Oh, I tell you what, we're gonna let you because you're now in the house. I'm glad you got my code because I switched the code this morning. I didn't want to tell you. So let me get you all set. I'm going to bring in Peter Jacobson while we get you all set.
What do I have to do? Give me a clue.
Hello, Peter.
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good, bud. How are you?
Well, I'm exhausted. As Nick was saying, this is one of the most amazing finishes, final rounds I've ever seen. I never won the Masters. I played in quite a few of them, and I understand that back nine and how up and down and a roller coaster ride that can be. But that was to the nth degree. I must admit, I was just listening to Nick talk about what Rory was going through on the back nine, and I would agree with him. That layup on 13 was smart, very calculating, very strategic. But I'm baffled at that wedge shot. I don't know what he was thinking about. I think he was trying to hit a little blooper, as you called it, try to drop it in with a little spin from left to right. When he should have just been taking a low, kind of a line drive sand wedge, cover it, maybe draw it up into that hill, and let it trickle down. And the worst he can make is a 5. But it was an incredible roller coaster ride for my wife Jan and I watching that this afternoon.
Unbelievable. NF, are you with us?
I think so. Can you hear me? Am I in position? Yeah. Am I good?
Now, just so I can if I could just put in perspective what you and Matthew and Simon and Lynn's just did. You just left the studios. You got off the air from Sky maybe. Wow. I had it 18 minutes ago. You still have your credential on. We allowed you in with a credential. Matthew drove on the correct side of the road, which I think is impressive. He drove 105, and you just whisked downstairs as I'm upstairs. That was one of the great transfers of all time.
How about that? I've had a heck of an afternoon. I did 3 hours, 3 and a bit hours, nearly 4 hours, I guess, with Sky, going through the ringer of all of that. Pretty amazing. And they rushed me off to the studio. Yeah.
So I want to start with both of you guys, if that's all right. I got a couple questions that I'm going to lay out because I think everyone wants to hear from you two. But, Sir Nick, you talked about the double on one. The walk from 1 to 2. Okay, put me in Rory's head. Put me in Bryson's head. Obviously, Justin is they're doing their thing, but you know what it's like because when you played with Greg, making that putt on Saturday to play with him. Walk me through the psyche. What's Rory? How does Rory calm down, and how does Bryson say game on?
Well, hey, we're only guessing, but I think we heard Rory saying that kind of relaxed him. When you're leading, it's like a reality shock. I'm now back tied. Bryson probably thought, "Wow, great, thank you, just gave me 2 shots. We're now back tied." And Rory stood up, and he's done it a couple of times. He just hit it just a little too straight down 2, straight into the bunker. That thing is 8 foot deep now. And then doesn't make there was a lot going on, my goodness, wasn't there? So he makes a 5. Bryson hits it on in 2, then 3 putts it because he left himself a really awkward putt. As I was describing. And I think they were fine then, and then Rory must have been feeling good because he gets another 2. He gets 2 shot swing rather on the 3rd. and then on 4, the same thing. And then where are we now? And then you saw him having laughter and enjoying himself on the 7th when he hit that shot. So he kind of like it all settled down. Then it went really well for him. Birdie in 9 and 10, all great. Got a poor chip on 11.
Yeah.
So that was
But
straight.
and he had the rights right off with the driver, right? Like, I mean, he drove it up right on 1, kind of straight on 2. 3 was fine. 5 he drives it right.
Oh well,
7 is
5,
left.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Is he thinking at that point, man, my driver's not where I want it, or are you playing the round? And Peter, same thing to you.
No. He was feeling it. He went through. I mean, I don't think we can appreciate. I can't wait, to get the book, to learn, to learn, what he went through. I mean, it's going to be, he went through torture. He went through a mental torture today. Learn, nobody's really. Hey, we don't. Tiger seemed to be coping with it, but he's gone 11 years before getting this Grand Slam win. So he's been through an awful lot of scar tissue. Tiger was all on the roll. I mean, every time Tiger went on a golf course, he was winning and blah blah. It was a piece of cake, wasn't it? So this was the emotional, mental torture. And so he made a short swing on 5 in short back and blocked it right, but got away with. It still scrambled so well. And then he goes left. It's tough. Your body's. You're feeling completely different things, and as many as we do as golf course, once you block one, you overcompensate, and so he tweaks it at 7, but hits an unbelievable shot, and could have got away with that one, but then 8 knocks it in the bunker and ends up taking 5 again. So it's like, wow, we're up and down, and then. As we were describing, from 30, that shot on 13, I think it was just a straight block, because he struggled with the foot, as he proved when he went up 18. That was a really straightforward, gap wedge for him, and he just flat out forgot to make a follow through. You get nervous, you get tight, and you just don't commit to that, and he blocked it. So unbelievable. I think he's set all sorts of records, like when he made 6 threes. That was the first, and nobody's ever won Augusta with 4 double bogeys until Rory. So,
he's the first player since Tiger in 08 to win a major with 4 doubles. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, there you go. So that's unbelievable. So I'm feeling good because I picked 12 under to win. Ha ha. So
hello. So
bad,
Peter, your thoughts on that? I mean, when you start that walk, let's put you in Bryson's shoes. And you just saw Rory make a double. Are you still all right? Just stay focused, or hey, it's game on. He's struggling. What's your thought process?
Well, knowing Bryson like I do, I've known him since he was an 8-year-old kid starting the game. And when you watch Bryson walk through the crowd, he's high-fiving people, and he's really tapping into the crowd's energy, which I love. I can relate to that. I do the same thing. But I think when Rory made the double and then he birdied to take the 1-shot lead, I think Bryson maybe got a little bit too excited. I think maybe that was when Bryson should have calmed down and gotten more internal. As Nick said, it was so up and down today, and it's so hard to understand the self-talk perspective between each player. I know that when I play and I'm ahead, then I'm behind and I'm ahead, it's hard to control where your thoughts go. You want to be chasing, then you want to be leading, but then you get a little bit tentative. I will say this about Rory's putting. People don't understand, Nick does, but when you get these tricky 5, 6, 8, 10 foot downhill putts at Augusta, you're literally playing defense. And I know that Rory had a few putts, short putts, that look makeable, and they are. But they're so much easier coming back uphill, especially under pressure. So when Rory missed the little one, a couple of little ones, like on 14, and he missed the one at 15, I know he's thinking, well, don't get too aggressive here because I'm going to have quite a long putt coming back. By the way, Nick, I love the fact that you've got fluff over your left shoulder behind you.
Yeah, how about that?
On the wall.
Yeah.
Thank you for having Fluff
Yeah.
represented here today.
So speaking of, we have a great question from Lee from the UK. So let's bring Lee on. Really interesting question for the guys. Welcome, Lee.
Thank you so much. Pleasure
Yeah.
to be here. Pleasure to see you all. So Nick, my golfing hero, going back to 1989, watching you win your first Masters. Full circle moment, watching my boys, or watching tonight Rory do the Grand Slam with my boys who were 13 and 12. Fantastic. My question is, if you were chasing the Masters, or Rory was chasing, or Justin, and you were playing Amen Corner, which of these, ranking them in order, is the more difficult? Is it the second to 11? Is it the tee shot at 12, or is it the second into the 13th?
Oh wow. Well, that is good one. I think it's probably almost as you said. I think the toughest one is 11 because there's so much, the history of it as well. And you've got a pond right there, and it's so easy. And especially going downhill, you see so much of it, and you can easily bail out. And they've changed the right hand side of 11 now. They've dropped it down, so that's a terrible side to miss the green. So you've just got the green to aim at. Simple as that. I guess as you said them, I think 12 is probably next because it's such a great par 3 and the angle of the green and all the wind and to think. Do you see guys? I commented, guys fist pump when they hit a green with an iron. I thought that's quite funny. They're like, yes, I hit a green. It's 150 yards. I mean, you would never do that in any other tournament ever. You're just like delighted. Yeah, and then 13, you've got a smidgen of a bailout left. If you go in the gully, at least you're safe. At least you're not wet. But yeah, I guess it's 1, 2, 3 in order of severity.
I think
Peter, do you agree with that?
Yeah. I was going to say, Lee, the one thing that I judge a great golf hole or a difficult golf hole on is where I can bail out. I hate to say that, but all of us golfers are looking for bailout areas. And I would agree exactly with what Nick said. 11, they've dropped it down on the right now to where the Larry Mize chip is almost non-existent.
Yeah, impossible.
It's so difficult. So there's really nowhere. And the chocolate drop short of the green. We saw Rory's ball almost kick into the water left. So there's really no bailout. 12, I would agree. There's no bailout. The only save you have on 12 is the bunker in front and the bunker in back. Not that it's a good situation, but at least you can make a 4. And then the easiest is 13 because you do have room to bail out left on 13, and it's a huge green as well, which is what makes Rory's wedge on 13 today so unbelievably shocking.
Yeah. All right, thanks there.
Lee, you obviously don't have to be up early tomorrow. What the hell? You got to go to bed, don't you?
I wasn't going to miss this for the world in that, but Sir Nick, again, I've got the 96 vintage shirt. So
you have. Good man.
Look forward to wearing that at the British Masters in
good
September.
Man.
So
come and say I've still got mine as well.
I will, if you could come and sign this, sir, I would be delighted.
Right.
But see you then. Thank you so much.
Come and track me down. No problem.
I tell you what, Lee is our early leader for the Sir Nick signing the Masters flag here. That's a hell of a pull when you're pulling shirts out, for crying out loud. Let's bring on Lee. Thanks so much, but let's bring on Gary Gallagher, who has a great question about Rory. Gary's down there from just outside of Atlanta. So welcome, Gary.
Canton, Georgia. Good evening. What a day. Nick, I think I heard you ask for a tequila, which was pretty apropos for the way that day.
Medicinal purposes.
Yeah. So, question I have is, now that Rory's won the Masters and he's gotten that quote unquote demon, right? He's slayed dragon, if you will. Do you think he's going to go on a run now that he's freed up and will just allow him to play golf and swing?
Well, I know. I wish I really knew, because when this all happened 10, 11 years ago, people said, "Oh, Rory's going to win 10 majors," and I said, "Hang on a minute." I said, he's either going to be really disappointed he only won 10, or ecstatic he wins 5. I didn't, it gets to number 5. and obviously is ecstatic to get number 5. It will be unprecedented. Nobody has gone 11 years between majors and then rebooted and started a second career. But you look at him; he's only 35, very fit, but beautiful golf game. Is this the mental, as we said, the monkey off his back? Does this motivate him to think, right, I'm going to gear up and give this a real blast for the next 5 years? I would guess yes. I have no idea whether it means he's going to, roll off a log and win more majors. I don't know, but I can definitely say he's probably thinking, right, 5 more years at this pace, really commit myself. Let's see what happens. And obviously, if he plays like the way he did, I mean, he dealt with so much mental strength this week to come up with it. Because I've been talking to the media all about it, saying, well, so what do? Do you go, probably heard me saying, I said in a Monte Carlo bust on that 7-9 on 15. That might have been the one, but only one shot. The rest, I think for him to be able to come in as favorite and deal with that and get in his own zone and play that beautifully and deal with all that emotion. I cannot imagine, that was gut-wrenching emotion. Who knows if some might say, I'm going to hang my hand up after that. But hey, he's young, 35. Many would say that's the prime of his career. So off he goes. So maybe he does something special for the next 5 years. Who knows?
One can hope.
Watch this space. I think that's gonna, he's certainly gonna
Peter,
it's certainly it's certainly letting he's certainly got a chance to relax and play now. My goodness. I mean, I can't even, his stomach must have been as tight as a knot today. So now he can say, hey, I've done it. My goodness, boy, have I done it. I can now, just go and play golf and enjoy myself, which might make him even better. Who knows?
And Peter, off of that too, when David Duval won the Open, that he kind of had that, okay, that's it, and it kind of just, he wasn't able to keep pushing himself. Off Gary's question with Rory, we're doing a hang 5 years from now. How many more does Rory tack on?
Hey, Gary, good to see you. You could tell, well, first of all, the players today deal with such media demands, as Nick was saying, that I'm so impressed with, Rory today and this year and the last 5 years, and Scheffler, how they go in, they do media every day and after every round. So I'm really impressed with the poise of these young professionals today, because there was media when we were playing, but not to the crush that it is today. When you watched Rory today, I was overwhelmed. I actually started tearing up watching him tear up, because clearly it meant so much to him. And I was exhausted after watching the round today, much less Rory trying that 11 years, trying to close the career Grand Slam out. So, Gary, I don't know. I think it would be fair to assume that Rory's going to be maybe sluggish the rest of the year because of the emotion that, one of the things we're told to do as professional players is not to get too high and not to get too low, to try to keep your composure. But you can't keep your composure when you complete the career Grand Slam and win your first green jacket. You can't. I know Nick Faldo very well. And I've seen him when he won his first, his second, his third green jacket. He was a mess. I know that. And that's not normally Nick. So I give a wide berth to any player who loses it and shows emotion. I do think Rory now will open up. I love his game. I wish his chipping game, to me, seems to be the only question mark. I still think his putting is good. But I love the way that he swings the golf club. I do think the floodgates can open, but to Nick's point, it's hard at that age to go and win another 10 majors. I wouldn't put it past him like I wouldn't put it past Tiger.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Well, Gary, my man, get some sleep there in Canton. Tuck that family in, will you? For crying out loud. Thanks, buddy. Hey, so again, follow Hang on social at Let's Hang Live. Right, we'd love to get everybody involved with other hangs, not just Sir Nick, but so much going on in the hang community. So I have a question for both of you. The player at home, whether you're a 15, a 20, a 2 handicap, you all have demons. You all are thinking ahead, right? You two obviously played at the highest level and were successful. The walk, I asked about the walk from 1 to 2. I was fascinated with the walk for Rory coming off of a birdie from 9 to 10. All right. It's about a 100-yard walk. Well, maybe not that much, but 80-yard walk. You know that it was creeping. Well, I'm short, right? So it's 92 for me. My legs aren't as long as yours. So you know that out. First of all, for Rory's perspective and for all the fans out there that are trying to break 90, trying to break 80, what can they do?
Well, the easiest way I thought or found to get yourself in present time is when you look down the fairway, any hole, I was very auditory. I was talking to myself internally a lot. So I would look down, and if you say, what do I want? And if you're really smart, you say, what do I want now? What do I want now? But just by saying that, you're now in present time. And you look down at it, and with a bit of like a picture will come up, and you'll start talking to yourself. What I'd love it to hit it, right of center. That would be great. Get your yike because the pin is back left, and I'll pop that in and I'll hit that there, and I'll try and leave it at 5 o'clock, whatever, good angle so you see where you are. You're right now. There's nothing worse than standing there on the 10th tee going, why did I screw up the 6? And I really don't like the 4. And I really don't like the 4s. We do that, people talk about, getting ahead of yourself, which is very easy to do. And so, that is a great thing about a great golf course, especially obviously Augusta. You have to stay you have to be thinking of that one shot at the time. You cannot be thinking of the 12th or anything. You deal with it when you get to it. As simple as that. It's a really simple trick. Just look at a shot and say, what do I want now? And that hope will, and you talk to yourself and tell it, I'd love this or that. Then you decide, well, if I want to, depending on your levels, if I want to, some people might say, I just want to get it airborne and pop it over there. Well, fine. See it. Make sure you see it. That's the other important thing. Very, very powerful. Visualization is very powerful. See it fly, see it land, and see it finish. That's the other important trick. Don't just see it fly and think, well, that's all right. Got it airborne. Say, oh, it went down. Oh, and there it is. And so see it finish. Really important thing. And then obviously you've got to make a swing to match that. And then please, we have a chance of making a rehearsal. And I laugh internally when I play the pro-ams and I see somebody's got either a 40-yard chip shot and they make a practice swing that long, or they've got a 10-yard chip shot and they can make a practice swing this long. And I think, because this fella's very clever and he goes, what the you thinking, man? So please rehearse exactly what you want, and then you have to stand up and commit to it. And the other simple trick is, make a good practice swing. If you make one that's off balance, go, well, I'll fix it during the swing when I'm hit a real shot. No, you have to go, make a nice swing, go, oh, that was all right. Then you stand up and bang, you do it. So, sure, it's quite a process, and that's the skill of our game. If you can keep churning that out, shot after shot after shot, and you can imagine there's the tensions, So that's all the players are doing. You see them stand at the bag, great visualization. They plot it with their caddy, got the yardage, what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. So that is the simplest trick, and it's very powerful if you can do that.
And Peter, what did you do? What was your secret?
I agree with that completely. One of the things that you have to do, and Nick said it perfectly, you've got to stay in the moment. You can't think about what you did the last hole or 18 the night before or even the first hole on Thursday. You can't go back because that's going to put you in a bad way. I'll tell you this one quick story. I didn't win that many tournaments, but one of them I won was the Travelers. I had a 4-shot lead over O'Meara going into the last 9 holes. And I was feeling fat, dumb, and happy. I got Fluff, who's on your left shoulder, Nick. I got Fluff on the back.
Yeah.
O'Meara birdies 10, 11, and I bogey 12. So going to the 13th tee, I'm only 1 up. And everybody's murmuring, oh, what's going to happen? I knew I had to trick my brain before it tricked me. I said to Fluff on the 13th tee, I said, man, it felt good to make birdies on those last 2 holes to take a 1-shot lead. And
Wow.
Fluff is usually token on a J. He looked at me like,
He said,
what
what
are
do you
you
say?
talking about?
That's a hell of
But
a
I
good
knew
stroke.
I
Wow.
knew I had to put myself into the position of being aggressive. So I said, okay, well, I just birdied the last 2. I'm 1 ahead. And I went on to birdie the next 2 holes and I won the tournament. So I think you've got to be honest with yourself and you've got to trick your brain before it gets a hold of you and takes you down.
Very
But is it
clever.
okay? But is it okay? Like, for example, if Rory's walking up and that swing pops in his head, I think a lot of people realize, oh, you can't have that. If that pops in your head, is there a trick to get it out? And is Nick, is that what you were talking about? Just, hey, it's in my head, get it out, focus on the
Oh
moment.
yeah, well yeah, exactly. There's many people go, how many times do you play with amateur go, oh, I knew I was going to do that. Well, yeah, guess what? You did. Yeah, you did. What's the great Henry Ford line? Whatever you're thinking, you're probably right. Whether you're thinking positive or negatively, you are probably right. So you've got, I mean, it's a very powerful thing, this, and it controls, so you've got to keep seeing the good shots and picturing it and committing to it, and it's quite fun. I mean, if you're really struggling with that, here's a great tip: go on the chipping green or the putting green and do some chipping. And it's really there because it's so much easier to visualize when the hole's right in front of you. So start with that. You can see the ball fly, land, roll, hit the pin. Actually hear it go ding when it hits the flag and goes in the hole. And so I do that with kids a lot. Say, see it fly, see it roll, hit the pin, ding, go in. And the number of times they pop it in is unbelievable because they got a little bit of talent and great visuals. So when you get good at that, start extending it out. Stand there with a wedge and think, I want to do this. And I promise you can start extending it out longer clubs through the bag.
And Peter, are you good to hang for a second?
Sure, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you again. So Kevin Gallagher's coming up next. Nick, I believe a buddy of yours who
Kevin
has
Gallagher,
a question
my
for you.
goodness.
That is wine number 1, Kevin, correct? Let's just confirm.
Last time I saw
I'm here,
him,
yes.
he had very dark, long hair.
Oh, every time.
Harsh, Jay.
Every time. Okay, I got a double barrel question for you. There's probably two good ones. One is, Rory came up through the Faldo Golf.
Yeah, Faldo Series, yes.
How do you feel about him possibly breaking your record of the greatest golfer of all time?
My God, he's done something completely different. I would love to have won the Grand Slam. It was one of my goals. I finished second in the other majors, lost but no, I think what we saw today, he's different. My goodness, he's winning left, right, and center in the European Tour in America. He's won about 28 tournaments in America. I seriously tip my cap to him. He's done incredibly well. I'm delighted he came through the Faldo Series. If you look some of the pictures of Rory, standing next to me, as a young 16-year-old lad, I took him on 3 trips. We came to the first one we came to California. Because I remember my little daughter Emma was kind of about 18 months, kind of crawling around underneath the tables where I've got these young kids, in entertaining them with practice. And at my Faldo Institute in California, I did that one. I remember taking him to Brockett Hall in England, and we also went to Ballylytton for I think that was in 2007, right before he then went off to the Carnoustie Open, and then he turned pro after that, and off he was gone. So I feel I've had quite an involvement with his early days, and but what he's doing now is special. He's turned out to be a mega star in our game, so I'm delighted for him.
Yeah, second question. And I thought about this a long time because, growing up watching you playing golf, and you were my hero growing up. There's no doubt. you changed on the golf course. You were stone cold. You didn't talk to anybody. And now look at you today. You are a superstar behind the TV, doing everything you do. And what changed? What changed in you?
No, it was quite funny. I laugh because I say my dad had amateur dramatics in him. I remember seeing my dad in pantomime at Welling Garden City at the Barn Theatre. My God, when I was a young lad. I don't know. I think, when I played golf, I was from that, I'm an only child, and I believed the best way to play was to be, as I describe it, head down, blinkers on, and stay in the moment. And I was able to stay in the moment for the full 18 holes. Some psychologists would say, oh, no, you've got to bounce in and out. Hey, that's, in my opinion, not true, because I proved I like staying in the mode. And I struggled with breaking that. So people saw me from the outside and thought, he's a right miserable bugger. All he thinks about is golf.
A lot of that. There was a lot of that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because I didn't know. I thought that was the way to do it. I was a huge fan of Bjorn Borg. I mean, he stayed in the mode, didn't he? He stayed the same kind of personality. I wish I'd known more. I got a great friend in Shelley Hager, who's sports psychology. He said, God, I could have taught you how to interact more with the crowds, and then come back to the bag. I mean, when you put your hand on the drive, you click back into golf mode. But I didn't know any of that at the time. It's just a different era of learning the game. We were very much, we were guessers. We were guessing about learning this blooming game, 30, 40 years ago now. So people thought, yeah, he's a miserable sod. And then I went to TV, and then slowly you could tell I'm a good joke teller, and I always having friends, and I'm a tease. I love my granddad jokes. I'm driving my daughter, and we got Joe here, who's fiance to Matthew. They're getting married, and I'm driving them nuts because everything I say, she takes in, and then she realizes it's a granddad joke on one. So I love that. But and it's slowly come out with TV. I enjoyed doing TV, and I thought, well, you got to let your personality go. So yeah, I wish now, if I could have turned back the clock, if I could have shown a bit more of that on the golf course, I would probably been a bit more loved rather than just respected. I hope, But hey, that's all I knew at that particular time,
So Kevin,
yes.
Well, go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry, go. No, sorry, go.
So Kevin, the opposite of Sir Nick Faldo would be Peter Jacobson, who's on this as well. So Peter, if you tried to play like Nick, could you have done that? Because you two are so polar opposites of what you were on the golf course. And what's crazy is I've had the great pleasure of being with both of you, not only during shows, but away from shows. And you two are very much alike. But on the golf course, you were polar opposites. Could you have played like Nick, or did you have to play and stay true to yourself with who you were inside the ropes?
Well, as Nick just said, you have to learn that. And the guy that helped me was Lee Trevino. Kevin, when I first started playing, I did the same as Nick, head down, blinders on, and stayed in the moment. But for some reason, I would implode. I just couldn't do that. So I played with Trevino a lot. I played with Arnold a lot. And Trevino said, look, if you can learn to get in and get out, and that worked for me. I would never recommend that to anybody else because you've got to learn that on your own. And playing with Nick as much as we did, I knew the kind of player he was, and I knew how he went about it. I went about it differently, but I didn't bemoan the fact that Nick wasn't talking, just like he didn't get upset that I was talking. But I've known Nick since our early days, and I knew the kind of person he was. In fact, all those years at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, I was playing with Jack Lemmon, and Nick was playing with Clint Eastwood, and we requested to play together every year because we were birds of a feather. We both like to have fun, but you have to come and learn from that. And I learned that, Kevin. I also came up through the Faldo series, and I learned a lot from Nick. standing next to him, taking pictures with him when I was a teenage boy like Rory.
But Peter, what you don't realize is that all those years, Clint and Jack requested different pros. So somehow the tour never listened to what their request was. That was what was unfortunate for all those years.
You're right.
Yeah.
Nick and I paid the tour to have those two great legends stuck with us.
That's awesome. Well, Kevin, thank you so much. You have a great night. We really appreciate you hopping on.
His fiance. Sorry, I'm like sitting on the couch here with Nancy. But it's good to hear your voice, and best to everybody.
Good to see you. And lavender is definitely your color.
You think so?
You look fabulous.
All right. My hair.
He's got that Madonna. He's got that Madonna laying on the couch. That looks great.
Wow. Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Cool.
When?
All right. Thank you very much, Kevin. All right. Let's bring in Irving Fryer Jr., who's got a question for the boys. Irving, thank you so much, my man. How you doing?
I'm blessed. It's a blessing to be here with you all. Nick and Peter, you guys are tremendous in my mind. Just to be in this realm, it's great. But the question I have, guys, is sort of, I'm in the golf fitness realm of the world, where I train golfers to go 4 rounds, but it seemed like today there was a spot
how do we
where everybody kind of just imploded. And do you think that was and Nick, I know, and Peter, I know you as well, you guys have played 4 rounds, you go through all these rounds and it's mentally, physically demanding.
Oh yeah.
You think it was more mental, physical, or do you think that the golf course today played harder than it did the first 3 days?
It's a great question.
No, well, it's definitely mental, because you kind of mentally prepare yourself. You can sit. I mean, I used to do a lot of visualization, and you sit there and try and dream up what the things that you dream up, all the things that might happen to you in the day. And so you kind of you mentally prepare. So if something goes wrong, you make a bad chip or you get stuck in a bunker or that sort of thing, you can play through some things. Not like it being negative. It's just like, okay, so well, if that happened, how would I deal with it? And that's quite a nice thing. But we have never seen a roller coaster like that in our game of all the emotions and knowing what it meant and how historic it was. I mean, they put us through the ring. I mean, we all sat there. We were sitting in the TV thing looking at each other. And then there was moments when, we're choked up for the guys. We can't believe. I was in shock. When they asked me about when Rory hit that shot at 13, I just said, I'm stunned. I had half tears in my eyes. I couldn't believe it. I thought, what the heck is, he's putting, he's got it. He was a 3-shot lead and he's just blew it right in front. By the time he messed up, Rosie hold it. 3 shots goes like that, which is what I've said over the years all the time. Oh my goodness. So I think, you have to be, you have to be physically strong to be mentally strong, don't you? You've got to have that. So I've never known anything like that, and we probably never will for a while. I mean, that's so. Yeah, it's a different world of training now. What these guys are up to get themselves fitter and stronger, isn't it? Amazing.
Absolutely. And also, I wanted to it kind of seeing Bryson today. He was in such a good spot coming off of yesterday, finishing off 18. I mean, that electric putt, it was amazing seeing that. It kind of seemed at a point where he mentally kind of checked out. You know what I mean?
Well, but I would say it started happening the day before. He started thrashing. We started beating on him, in a technical way. When he hit that shot at 13, he had a beautiful drive. He had a 7-9 into the green, and he tries to thrash it. And that's when I got Butch Harmon in the tower with me. And I said, and I'm like, Butch, where is the tempo? You've got to have tempo. You never force a 7-9. You've got to be able to play a night a nice smooth shot. And he was forcing it. His knees are flying all over the place. His feet were all leaping around. And you don't do that with your short iron. Sure, if you can do that with a driver and send it further, great. But as the clubs get shorter, you want your feet to be more planted, your knees doing less, and you control it. And the skill is, can you really control literally plus or minus a yard? When back in the day, sounds ridiculous, but we got that good that you could call it. You're trying for 145 and you knew you either hit it 46 or 44, literally plus or minus a yard. And so he starts busting those shots. And then they came out today, and so we were screaming yesterday saying, he's got to slow it down. Does he have a half shot, a smooth shot? And he didn't. He came out and he's still hitting it. Start the draws going, and because we stood up at 11, that was the perfect one to hit a little fade, and he pulls it in, and that was it. He kind of imploded, didn't he? He lost the plot of what am I doing, and you lose your feel, you lose your trust, you go in a mental spiral. Like, my God, I just feel so weird. I don't know what I'm doing. So, yeah, it really hit him hard today. That'll be a knockback that he'll have to really study and learn how and why that happened, and how and why does he cure it for the future.
And Peter, off that question, which was great, what that Irving had, and I think you're about to get in there, the difference of mental and physical fatigue, and then go where you wanted to go there, because I think Irving's question is fascinating.
Yeah, the one thing, Irving, that we see that's different from when Nick and I were playing majority of our golf is with the players and their fitness level now. I think, as Nick just said, there is the tendency to use that strength and swing a little bit too hard. The one thing that's great off the tee, and I love to watch Rory and Bryson, I love to watch the guys smash it, but the closer you get to the green, you've got to be more precise. I think you need to hit maybe at least one half or maybe one more club to be able to work on the distance, because we're seeing more and more in the game. We're seeing guys carrying their 8-iron, 9-iron, 7-iron, whatever it may be, just a club too far or a club too short. Because when you're trying to he-man a 7-iron and you miss-hit it a little bit, it's going to come up a club short. Conversely, if you nail it, it's going to go a club too far. So I've always thought drivers, 3 woods, let's just take the cover off and rip it. But the closer I get, I need to be more precise and play more shots with my 8, 9 wedge. Now, let me just say this. The shots that Rory hit today on 7, when he almost holed it, up and over the tree left to right, and the shot from around the tree on 15, as well as the one on 17, those were Superman He-Man shots.
Oh, yeah.
That not many people in the game could do that. That took not only physical strength, but it took a mental preparation that he knew he could do it. So, great question. I think these guys are all strong. They're all prepared. But mentally, I think what the gymnastics that Rory went through today will serve him long into the future, because it proved to him that he can deal with it and he can come through it.
And Irving, before we let you go, with Friar Fitness Golf,
Yes,
how much of the mental game, when you train people, do you get into? And do your clients understand it's not just a physical aspect, it's a mental aspect?
Well, that is something that I preach first and foremost. I approach it with, you have to stay positive and tell yourself mentally that you're able and capable. And that's where it all starts, and that's where it all ends, up in between your ears. And like I was saying, I kind of saw Bryson looking up in the trees, and he wasn't in between his 2 ears. He was outside of his ears. You know what I mean? If you can understand that.
Yeah.
So I definitely preach to my students, my clients, hey guys, in order to understand, you have to mentally understand and mentally be physically fit to achieve the goal that you want. And that just keeps your head in the game, keeps you going. Also, being an athlete of football and basketball and all that through college, and having a father that played professional sports, you get to learn that mental side is a really big part of the game. And I just wanted to hear, what Nick had to say and what Peter had to say about that, because I kind of saw it today through the debacle of all of that. You know, I never saw so many double bogeys in my life.
We'll let you go. I can assure you, the next time
hang on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Urban, I might be over 50. Definitely feeling it right now. So we all want more, at our age, we all want more explosive power. So give me, and I'm going home and I'll be in my gym. Give me 1 or 2 quick tips so I can get another 2 more mile an hour club head speed, please.
All right. You got to work.
What's your favorite exercise? It's to get more explosion.
My favorite exercise is definitely a wall slam. Those will definitely give you with the medicine ball. And then also, I love a kneeling rotational pull and press.
Oh, okay.
So you'll take the cable and you'll kneel and you'll pull.
Yeah.
And you'll also have a kettlebell and you'll press up with the kettlebell with the rotation.
Oh, I pull one down while I push up the other one?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Oh, that's different. Okay.
Yeah, those are great. And also, you guys get on Friday Fitness Golf on Instagram, TikTok.
All right, we'll check you out. We'll check you out.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to check it out, Irving. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Peter.
And
I
Irving,
appreciate
just
you,
so
Nick.
you know, that look that Bryson had when he looked up to the trees is like Sir Nick in the gym when somebody has the 100-pound dumbbell. He has that look on his face like, are you kidding me? I can't go to 90s. He doesn't want to go to higher reps. I've been with the guy. He wants 8 reps with the Hondos. That's all he says. It's unbelievable.
He wants to hit it like Bryson. It's all right.
That's what he does.
No, I don't.
So much.
No, I just want to. I want a bit more oomph in me oomph. That's it. All right.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, have a good night. Thanks, Irving.
You as well. I appreciate you all. Appreciate it.
All right, Peter, I got one more for you. And Sir Nick, we have a special guest that with our first hang, he was overseas, listened to it, created a song. So I'm going to have our crew back there that's
Sam,
queued up. Let's play it, and then we'll bring on Sam. So let's listen in here, Kat. It's all you.
Sam.
How could we just let you walk away after 3 wins at this place, when surely there's some good golf left for you? Ooh, you're the only one who made Greg Norman ball. How could you just quit the TV booth and all Jeanette can do is watch you leave? 'Cause you shared the laughter and the pain, but now you've shifted gears, and the Montana sun and fishing tackle calls. So take a look at Jade, and there's nothing left now to remind us, just the PNC or grade. Take a look at you now. You're there in the Hall of Fame, but you coming back to play is against the odds, and that's what we've got to face.
That's great. That's awesome.
That's better than Phil Collins. Sam.
Let's bring on the legend himself, Sam Harrop, also known as Phil Collins. Sam, that was awesome. I'm getting the hell out of the way. It's you and Peter Jacobson and Sir Nick. That was awesome.
Good. Sam.
Thank you. You know what, Sir Nick, you deserve the song. I mean, it's been a long time I've done songs about several people, but not a legend of the game.
You like that one? Yeah.
Hey, Sam, Peter.
Yeah.
Good to see you, man. That was great.
Peter's a real musician. Peter had a
stuff.
band, you know, Jake Trout and the Flounders. You know?
Yes.
And he plays with Bruce Hornsby. Who's your buddies? You got some serious buddies.
Yeah, Huey Lewis, Glenn Fry, Stephen Stills, Graham Nash.
Oh,
yeah,
blimey,
yeah, we had some fun, Sam. I think you probably know our music.
We had a chat, Peter, didn't we, a couple of years ago in Florida, and you told me about some stories of you going to the studio and you've had some good experiences with some great musicians, and obviously you're a great musician yourself. So,
well, I love your stuff. I'm always following you and waiting for the next great
it's a
song,
good
and
one.
you just played it.
Yeah, very good. Well done, Sam.
No, thank you, Sir
So
Nick.
Sam, today let's talk today. You're a golf fan. Let's talk golf. What were your thoughts today? You got the boys right here. Where do you start as a golf fan thinking about today?
I mean, wow, it's exhausting to watch, but in the best possible way. I think is the best way to summarize it. I mean, how many times can you lose and then win a tournament in one round? It felt like it just he really put us through the ringer, like you say, Nick, earlier on. I really, some of the shots that he played down the stretch. I mean, 15 and 17, those two shots were certainly 15. One of the best shots I think I've ever witnessed in terms of what it meant at that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was phenomenal, and you know what, it had to happen, right? And it was quite emotional to watch, I think, for a lot of people. Because it means obviously means so much to him, but I think it means so much to the golf community. You know, everyone's been waiting for this moment, and it finally happened.
Yeah, and many times after something had happened, we thought it's never going to happen, and then somehow he's had a great year this year and clawed his way back into it. And so, I mean, I think that, I described, getting the right mental state. That shot here on 15 was, I think, it'd be interesting to ask. I think that was pretty close to Monte Carlo bust. It was like, I'm going for this. I'm going to hit a swooper. I know I can do that. I'm just flat out going. If this doesn't come off, I'm done. And boy, did it come off. That was just friggin' sensational, wasn't it?
Hey, Sam, the one thing that I want to point out, the great thing about Augusta National is the roller coaster ride that the golf course is. And Justin Rose, who is one of the finest people in the game, he's one of the finest gentlemen. I love Justin Rose, former Paint Stewart Award winner, just an incredible guy. He made 4 pars today on that round of 66. And that just goes to show you, now that's a long ways from 18 pars by Nick Faldo to win the Open. Back in the day, you won't see 18 pars win any tournament at Augusta National. You would not see anybody win the Masters with 18 pars. It's just that type of golf course. And I love what you said, that how many times can you win and lose a tournament in one round? But we saw that today.
Yeah, you know what, and I was a bit gutted for Justin in many ways, because like you say, I mean, he's a legend of the game too. I love the guy, and when it came to a playoff, I'm thinking, you know what, I'd be happy if either of these people won. Me too. It's monumental for Rory for him to win that playoff, but for Justin, you're thinking this could be his last chance to win a green jacket. I mean, he's not getting any younger.
Do you know, I was thinking if Justin had won, it was gonna be a little bit like Stuart Sink when he beat Tom Watson. People would have gone, well, you just stopped. You stopped, Rory from winning the Grand Slam, which would probably or possibly never happen. And he would have been the bad boy of it, So so what happened? So my next song, I wanted you to do either Ian during the blockheads, Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, or reasons you're getting Ian during the blockheads, Reasons to Be Cheerful Part 3. So you can save that for later, Work on that.
I thought I'd save that one.
Hey, Sam, Huey Lewis, who's a very close pal of Nick's and mine. By the way, he just had cochlear implants in his ears.
Oh my God,
surgical implants. Huey and I have been working on an original song for about 3 years now. It's called "This Getting Old Is Getting Old." So we're about halfway in, but we're gonna have to get together and finish it. Maybe you can help us finish it.
Well, you're funny, Peter. Funny you should say that. I started one with Huey. Well, we were doing the film. We said he's got too much touch, but not enough feel. We were going to do a country and western one.
Oh, that's a good title.
That's the only line we got, mind you. He's
We
got
could work
too
with that.
much church and not enough field.
Yeah, I think our start is this getting old. Is getting old. This ain't the
Yeah.
golden years like we've been told, and it goes
Okay.
on from there. Yeah.
All right.
That's
All right.
awesome. Sam, thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
Keep it
thanks a
going.
lot,
We're
Sam.
going
That
to
was good. That was a good
PGA,
one.
US Open, the Open, Ryder Cup. You're our man. We're reaching out. You're on every time.
And PNC that you mentioned in
PNC.
your song.
Yeah, we'll give you a
Yes.
we'll give you a real good
Reach the
spot.
PNC.
You down with PNC? You know me. You can take that and run, Sam. That's all
Okay.
yours.
All right.
Thanks so much,
All the
guys.
See you,
best.
Sam.
Thanks,
All right,
Sam.
take care.
It's been a pleasure.
Hey,
All right.
Peter, we have kept you way too long. I just want to kind of get your final, as we say goodbye to Peter. Just final thought from the day. What's your takeaway? What's your you leave tonight thinking what?
I leave tonight thinking that Rory McIlroy is on the Mount Rushmore of golf, simply with the other five that we know. He's the sixth winner of the career Grand Slam. To put it in perspective, both Tiger and Jack have won the career Grand Slam 3 times over. So that goes to show you how great Jack and Tiger are. But I'm so happy for Rory. He's one of the bright young stars, and like Sam said, if either Rory or Justin had won that today, I would have been overjoyed. But seeing Rory make history, I was so happy to see that, and to see the emotion, it brought me to tears. I was crying along with Rory because it made him so happy. But I think the game.
Can I just say something real quick? You know what just brought Peter? I'm just going to interrupt real quick. You know what just brought me to tears? Nick's son Matthew just brought in fresh Omaha steaks. All right, Sir Nick is on his he's on his 5th one, I believe. Matthew came upstairs to the office, couldn't find me. I'm on my 1st one, but I see your boys having a bunch. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, Peter, but these Omaha steaks are off the charts.
Dave just made me top ramen noodles, so you guys enjoy that.
Yeah, my buddies Omaha Steaks. Yeah, they send me. I'm getting good at steaks now. I watch Gordon Ramsay and all these chefs on TikTok, so I'm learning all my secrets to get the right herbs and the right butter and all that sort of, and the right searing. So man, I'm getting good for a Montana man now. So
all right,
good.
Nick,
this is gorgeous fillet steaks. Yeah,
it looks good. Listen, good to be with you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Right,
thanks, Peter. You're the best. Thank you so much, Sir Nick. We have a question from John. All right, little off topic. When a question starts a little off topic, you get a little nervous. However, just wanted to know if you remember the Eagle 2 you made with a 4-iron at the National Course in Toronto. I watched it in person. Do you remember the cha-ching?
I do. It's so funny. As we travel the world, people come up to me with stories of people who were there when I've done certain things. I just went to Singapore, and the guy in the car, and I said, I go, do you know what? I won the Johnny Walker here in 1991. And the guy goes, yeah, I was one of the caddies at the club. Yeah, 91. Okay, and I just went with what was the next story was funny? Oh, I was on a jet ski.
This was last week. This was at breakfast last Saturday.
This gentleman comes up and said, do you remember how you got onto that island in Ireland? I said, yeah, we took a jet ski from Innisgrowing Golf Club across the little channel, about 100 yards wide, but the water was whipping through on the tide. He said, I was the young lad. They were like 2 18-year-old lads, powered their jet skis up from Ballina, it is, picked us up and drove us onto the island. So it's hilarious how I suddenly get people 30 odd years later start telling me stories. And the gentleman came up to me in the airport only a couple of weeks ago and said, Canada, do you remember playing the skins? I said, yeah, I hold a 4-iron on the 14th hole. I think they've even put a plaque down, which I haven't hold a. Scottish Scheffler is holding bloody 6 shots every. He shows up. He holds a shot every. Doesn't he? Holds a shot every month. I haven't hold a shot for 30 bloody years now. It's getting embarrassing. So I'm gonna have to. But yeah, obviously I do remember. I actually won that skins game. Thank you very much.
But think about we were on at the Flying Biscuit. Who would have thought in Buckhead, Georgia, on a Saturday morning with our 2 wives, okay, the great Lynn's and the great Aaron, having at Flying Biscuit, you had your salmon omelet.
No,
Lynn's had some grits. Okay. And who would have thought two guys from Ireland who pulled you aside on our way out before you gave my wife a great lesson, which is helping her this week, and said, hey, you're not going to believe this. And you started laughing and going, oh, my God, you're right.
That was a story. That was amazing, Dave. Crazy. Anyway, what else you got?
Question from I got a question from Michael Faust. All right, big Tennessee Vol fan. Who they lost their quarterback yesterday. That's not the question, but he wants to know, how did Rory keep composing himself all day with the ups and downs? But then, and he makes a really good point, you kind of kept going. But when you missed the 1 in 18 in regulation for the whole thing, you have to sign your card. Justin's got the momentum. How do you compose yourself from that to all the way the drive down to 18? What do you do? How does that happen?
No, I honestly don't know. I'm going to be fascinated to hear what he's got to say. I mean, somebody's going to write a book on that one, just on that one round. No, I don't know, because everything was going wrong. You know, you've got a 125 in. Right. It's a straightforward shot. You block it right. Bunker shot. The putt, you have to hit. You know, Rosie's putt went in a good pace, so that's why it was so straight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that one was as I said on TV, if you just hit it a smidgen too soft, it's going to go left. Well, you have to hit it soft because you don't want to do you do not want, 3-footer after it. So I honestly, I mean, how you go back, you've got to go straight down. Rosie had a time to go to the range and warm up and chat away and feel good. I've had a great day. I've holed all those putts. So Rory had to go back down again and regroup and say to himself, I can only speak for me, as I said, I enjoy playoffs because I used to say to myself, all right, I've beaten the rest of the field. I've just got to worry about one guy now. So that made me feel good, made me feel up. But I don't think I've ever, that's tough. My career's a long time ago. I know in Spain I bogeyed the last and got in the playoff and then lost the playoff. So, when you're down, how do you, honestly, how do you then go back there? And a bit like we were saying, I've got to forget everything. I've still got a shot. I've just got to beat one guy. If I want to do it, I better find a way to dig deep. Where's my courage, my determination? If I can make one great swing, as soon as he made the tee shot, I'm sure that probably clicked him back into it. Rosie hits a fabulous shot. He was then, as I get on TV, I see he's forced. Got no choice now. He's got to go for it. Rosie's got a chance. Yeah. Can he go for it? Which is almost if he'd done it the first time, if he'd taken a gap wedge and just nailed it, none of that would have happened.
It's over, right?
But it did. And I think the fact that Rose was there, he knew I've got no choice. I've got to try and hit a great shot. And he was in the perfect spot with that yardage, with the backstop, spins back down. So put all that together. But, the real bottom line is amazing strength. I mean, you talk about guts, courage, just determination. It's the will to win. It's like, I have an opportunity. Do you say, will I ever get this again? It's right in front of me. I actually have an opportunity right now. Can I take it? Now, here we're going to learn more so much from Rory's own words, but there's not many people could have done that. A lot of people would have just crumbled, really would. I mean, which you see, that's why they haven't won majors. Something happens, even early in the week, something happens and they don't recover. That's the hardest thing about.
Well, how about day one? He's cruising. He's cruising and chips it in on 15. It looks like, hey, I can get out of my way and shoot 68 here, and it's a perfect start. And he's through 14 and a half holes, and he's got to say to himself, oh my God, this thing is coming right back to here we go again. Now he's 7 back after day one, which is an incredible comeback. And here we go.
No, but I think day one, what I would have said to myself is Scheffler is number one. He's the favorite, or one of the favorites.
Yeah,
I'm 4, but just to make yourself feel better. Look, I got to 4 under. I'm only 4 back on Scheffler. Not quite so bad. We've got to start again. Funny, Augusta has a way of almost picking a score. I said, 10, 12 under is going to win this thing. I said it today, 12 under will win it. That's what they're kind of looking for as a number. You have to say to yourself, well, I can shoot 12 under in 3 rounds. I can get there. Exactly what he did. So, but you still got to do it. You still got to be able to delete and go sod that and get back into it and start again. And he did a brilliant job. After 2 days, he was technically 10 under after those 2 bad chip shots cost him 4 shots. Yeah. So
right.
That's all the little things you got to say to yourself. I'm making more birdies than anybody else. He was either the best or one of the best in proximity as a whole, and you had to just believe that if I just stick around, guys will come backwards at the weekend. It's not everybody goes forward. As you saw, only a few guys went forward at the weekend.
So let me ask you a question. We talked about Rory regrouping. You had a way to regroup, but the other way. When Scott Hoke misses the putt, I know you and I have talked about this, but I think the fans will love to hear this. You had the opposite. It looked like it was over, and yet it continues. Yeah. When Scott misses that putt, and your walk over to 11, and I guess conversely, to an extent, Greg's. We could do a whole show on Greg, but the Hoke putt specifically, your walk to 11. How do you compose yourself of this thing's over to, oh my gosh, here we go. I'm back in this thing.
That's exactly what I said to myself. I said I can still win this, but it doesn't look very good right now. He misses the putt, and off we go to 11. And you kind of know that your opponent is troubled after doing something like that. Their head is going to be around that. And that golf hole was playing really long, and it was wet, it was drizzling, it was nearly dark. I had 3-iron into that blooming green, and I could hardly see what I was doing. I could see, something down the right. Almost, it was the old tree line. 11 fairway was actually flatter, and the trees were further right. Mm-hmm. So I got a bit of the tree line, and I nailed this 3-iron. I saw it turn just to the left, so that was great. And then finally, honestly, couldn't see where the ball was until I was like 60, 70 yards from the green. It was getting that dark, and I knew he was in trouble. He'd gone right, pitched it. So I almost had 2 chances at it. He had an 8-footer for a par. And, but my one was just a gift. I lined it up.
And that's because Prodger gave you the read, correct? He gave you the entire thing. You couldn't do it without him, correct?
That was the funny part. Andy Prodger was from Watford, talked like that. And so I said, Prodger, what do you think? He says, cool, it all looks a bit of a blur to me, Gov. And I thought, all right, thanks. Honestly, that's all right. You grab hold of the flag, and and I'm back there, and I'm going left, right. I thought, let go, left, right, and boom, that was it. Over.
Done. So was that the one, or was it the next year that you go back to the Courtyard Marriott by yourself in the corner room? I pass that Courtyard Marriott every time I think of you.
I'm the only. I will be forever the only champion. So first, 1989, I was on my own. Matthew had just been born. My boy Matthew had been born 3 weeks before, so I was at the Masters all on my own, staying in the Courtyard, and and I thought, why not? So we came back the next year, staying in the corner suite of the Courtyard. We went for a $20 upgrade. Hello. Yeah. We went for so normally it's like $60 a night because they charged $120, and then I went for the $140 room with the upgrade of going to a corner suite. And actually the kids were there, so I must have Natalie and to win from the Courtyard Marriott and then to defend from the Courtyard Marriott.
So do we know for a fact Rory is not in room 146 at the Courtyard tonight? Can we confirm that? We feel good about that?
I think Rory could probably buy the whole bloody place. I think next year he's going to probably have 101 mates in town. He might have to take over the whole hotel. Yeah.
That's great. So we got about 10 minutes. I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk Rose a little bit. It's all Rory. It's all Rory. Jackie Burke came from 8 back to win in 56. Gary came from 7 back to win in 78. We all know what you did with Greg. And, Justin Bogey, he birdies 1, birdies 2, bogeys 4 and 5. And we keep talking about, the heart of a champion and hanging in there. I mean, just talk about his round, because again, I had a lot of friends. They're not showing this guy. They're not showing that guy. They're showing who they need to be at the moment. These producers don't have the ability to go back in time and go, oh, let me go back and get that shot. So you probably didn't see him hit every shot, but just the mental fortitude of knowing you start the day 7 back, right? And okay, I got off a good start. Now it might have derailed, but to hang in there and do what he did, just talk about his round a little bit.
Well, not just his round. I mean, the whole week, everything went swimmingly. Perfect day one. You know, when you look at the putt, and as we've been talking about how much break, a 12-footer's got a foot of break. Well, you've only got to hit it a smidgen soft, and it breaks in front of the hole, smidgen too hard, and it breaks behind the hole. So to marry line and pace up, you get those days when you just look at it, hit it, boom, boom, boom. Kept holding everything. Gets to 8 under bogeys just to last. So second day kind of slowed down a bit, which you kind of expect. Third day was very much up and down. He had the odd bogey at the wrong time, and he was kind of out of it. And I did predict before the round, because the weather was so darn good. It was perfect day here that somebody, especially a Mr. Scotty Scheffler, after what he did at the Olympics final round, shooting 62, I thought, very dangerous. Somebody could come through. But, Rose started nicely. He birdied 1, didn't he? I think. And so,
birdied 1 and 3 off the bat.
Then a couple of mistakes. And, excuse me.
He birdied 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 18. Pretty good.
There was a downtime. He missed 2 couple of putts, didn't he? 4 and 5. And you think,
4 and 5, bogeys 14 and 17.
And in a way, you could almost say to yourself, sometimes that can relax you. You feel, well, I'm out of it. I might as well just go for everything. And he obviously was doing the right thing. And he played fabulous, and he putted even better, a bit like day one. I mean, the way some of those were, and it was fascinating. They used a completely different pin on 17. We haven't seen it. And I was again on the call saying he was right on the cusp of. And he's got history, because that's when he missed the putt when he was battling against Sergio on 17.
Sergio, yep.
Yeah, and he was looking at this putt, and I'm saying, I got a horrible feeling this will go left, because they just put it just over the crown of the hill. It looks like it should go to the right, and sure enough, it went left. He misread it. It was brutally tough to read. And then rams it in at the last. He had to straight down it, literally dead straight, went for it, probably right edge, bam. And that was an unbelievable read and stroke. That was as pure as it gets. So he must feel gutted as well, because there was a moment where he might have won this. He's dying to win it. He's had a couple of chances.
And what does he do? I'm fascinated. He's obviously not playing. The beauty you had with Greg, and I know you've talked about it forever, is playing with Greg. You got to see him. He didn't get to see Rory, so he must. No. And you don't hear but he has to look up and know, okay, Rory still has 13 and 15. Those are 2 good drives. Those are 2 birdies. I'm even further back. Yeah. When you look up, wow, did they make a mistake? Like, is that possible? I mean, what's got to go through his mind, right? There's no way you're thinking the guy just made double.
Well, it's right. There was a moment when Rory birdied 17, there was a moment he might be thinking, I could win this. I might win this. I mean, I'm in with 11. I'm in the clubhouse with 11. At that time, Rory he's at 11. He had a chance. He had a good
chance at 16.
Well, a great chance 15 and 16. Yeah, very different. But downhill putts, you just got to defend them, and not easy just to. You don't want to rush one in, because you're feeling. Rory wasn't feeling great. Obviously, he was churning. I guarantee he was hating the thought of having a 3-footer, because who knows what could happen. So, he must have had a moment when he thought, have I done enough? And then he probably felt very good in the playoff, and I had a feeling we might go 3-3 in the playoff.
Yeah, Rosie hit a good shot.
He had a good job, but Rory put a lot of pressure on him in there. He knew he had to make. That's the ultimate pressure, isn't it? When you're in a playoff and you got one go. If you miss it, you're out. That's because you have beaten everybody. I mean, and you've just lost in one hole.
72 holes, right? You're tied.
One hole is pretty hard. Sure, I've come out of it well. I've won playoffs, but I lost an 18 hole. But at the end of the day, you think, my goodness, you've actually done. You haven't really lost. You've beaten literally 98% of the field. It's just one guy. One guy. Yeah. And I think it is harsh because it's deemed as a loss, and when you're forgotten, as Gary Player would say, only a dog remembers when you finish second, because you hopefully bring him a new bag of bones.
One more question, and then we'll announce our flag. By the way, so we do have a winner. So the question's from Cup Golf. It's a little off topic, but he wants to know if you were on the driving range, best swing in the field, and who is the purest ball striker in the field this week?
I think Oberg, Ludwig Oberg, I really am impressed with him. He got such a beautiful swing. You watch the shape of the shots, they only move a little bit, little draws, little fades. He made an absolute pig's ear of the 18th. He didn't kind of deserve
It's also his second Masters. We kind of take it for granted, too. He's still learning, which is crazy.
He was second last year, and he takes a 7 up the last. He went from second at the time to about 7th or whatever. That would hurt a bit, but he's starting to get to feel what majors feel like.
Yeah,
he clawed he played the best tee to green, and he didn't hold it. He didn't hold anything. He definitely was the best in proximity. I know that. I think he was averaging about 12th to 15th of the best putter. When you really you've got to be in the top 5 if you're going to win the Masters. You really got to be in the top 5 in putting. I think that's one of those stats you just better have for the week. But I think ball striking wise, anywhere that's rough where we go and play. So if the weather's rough, it's especially an island, something like that, I'd definitely put a pound on him. He'll do it one day. Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And he'll be fascinating to watch in the Ryder Cup too in New York. He'll be tremendous.
Yes.
And you compare him with anybody, right? I mean, foursomes and 4-ball, it seems like he can. There's no weakness with him. He fall 5 and send him out.
I've only chatted to him a little bit, but I listened to his press conferences, and considering he's from Sweden and speaking English and speaking so well and so level-headed and measured with his answers, he is a young man. Wow, he's a pretty impressive young man. He really is.
Well, I'll give his golf coach, Greg Sands, a lot of credit too. We covered him at Golf Channel at Texas Tech from day one. You don't think many people go from where he was in Europe over to Lubbock, Texas, but he told me as a freshman, keep an eye on this kid. And so they saw something special, which is pretty cool. All right, our flag winner. All right, which we will get this out to him. We'll get him his address. Kyle Vanderford.
Okay.
And so we'll sign it when we're done. We'll send Kyle a note, see what he wants exactly written on there. But we will send this off to him. Impressive.
All right.
You can sign it.
There it is.
Rory McIlroy and Nick Faldo. Kyle will never know, but we won't tell him that. But that is coming his way.
Yeah. Could I sneak in 89, 1996, and 2025?
Absolutely. And when no one's looking,
2026.
throw Tiger Woods on there too.
You can put whatever you want on there, Sir Nick. I appreciate it.
Oh, there's Kyle. Kyle, how are you? Congratulations on your win, bud.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right.
How are you doing?
Good. Doing real good. I'll put it up next to the one that I have from Fuzzy Zeller and Gary Player's last Masters.
Oh, well done. Okay.
Man.
All right.
Man, any questions for Sir Nick today?
Oh, just his, been love listening to his insight. What was one just thing that surprised you that you saw today?
Oh, blimey, what did surprise me? Well, the most shocking was the wedge shot at 13, wasn't it? My goodness.
Yeah.
That we all fell out. It's like we were stuck. Ewan Murray said to me, Nick, what do you got to say? I just said, I'm stunned. I couldn't speak. I've never seen that. Wasn't expecting it at all. I was calling the shot saying, yeah, just go 5 yards left to the flag, land it there. It's guaranteed. I thought he was going to knock it to 4 feet. I really did. And that would be a cushion. And he plonks it in the creek. I mean, my God, that was unbelievable. That was a shocker that's the most shocking pro shot I can think of off the top of my head right now.
Hey, in all seriousness, Sir Nick, you put 100 range balls out there tomorrow. Can he hit another one in the creek?
No. He might even hold one, from there because it runs down and feeds down to the hole. He obviously had a moment a couple of times when he just got so tight that he couldn't make a follow through. Just couldn't get through it cleanly. Just come across it, has no power to the shot, and it just went straight right. Did it? I mean, he did it up at 18, which was an unbelievable shocker because we golfers are actually so delicate. You only have to hit one or two bad shots, and the trust just evaporates out of your mind and your body. So, how he kept re-digging himself to get himself back up again. We were, as I said, it's going to be fascinating to read the transcript from the press conference.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, my man, always great seeing you. Keep playing well. Kyle hasn't missed a shot in about 10 years, so he grinds it.
Good stuff.
Yeah, thank y'all very much.
Kyle.
All right.
See you, buddy. All right, Nick, we are wrapping up. You and I are on our way to the courtyard to celebrate with Rory.
Yeah.
He said to meet him in the lobby in 15 minutes. So we'll have Matthew whip up another steak.
They're still doing cheese and broccoli soup, I bet they're 40 years later.
Or maybe that's the morning. We'll see. We'll send him a note and ask him. So, hey, again, the Hang community, letshang.live, and that's at letshang.live on social. Sir Nick, last thought. I mean, what do you wake up in the morning and go, well, that was a hell of a dream. I don't believe that happened.
No.
I mean, has it hit you yet, what you just witnessed?
No, I'm still kind of spinning in my mind. When you do a TV show, you stop and think, what did I say and how did I do and what did we see and all
what just happened?
I honestly do. You think, wow. I'll be delighted to have a good night's sleep, and then I'm out the door and head home to my puppies. Can't wait to go back and see the doggies. I'll send a video with how happy the doggies are I'll be very happy to see them as much as Ed. Hopefully he's happy to have.
They're going to love that steak you're bringing home too.
Yeah, I'll bring them one a little bit. I got last bite left of my Omaha steak. How about that? Oh, yummy. Did a good job.
You know what? We ended the last show drinking a little something out of the claret jug, and we end this one with a little steak. So we'll see what's in store next time.
There we go. All right. Thank you, viewers. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you all, everybody. Again,
bye.
Thank you for the Hang community, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
The recording has stopped.